Y'all doing? Good, I hope. I never did this story time, but this is the story time about my life flipping upside down. Um, full disclaimer, I cuss, I curses, I do all the things. So if that's going to move you to words, then you need to click off the videos. Ma'am, um, person, you like, I don't know, troll, I don't know. And secondly, trolls, trolls. I'm not taking it on this video. You know, y'all come into my life like all the time, and some stuff I just block and delete. But if you think I am motherfucking playing with you about this video, you will see. Because I am going to report it to YouTube. I'm going to report you to YouTube. Because usually I just block and delete you. But if you say something in this video, if you say something in this video to where you're being disrespectful, you're going to feel my wrath. That's all I'm saying. So, this is the story time about how my life flipped upside down because of somebody else's marriage, and how I got hit with a stray bullet. So, this had to be about 20, 22, 22, 22. Everything was going well. Everything was going right. Okay, I'm not gonna try to. Everything was going well. Everything was going okay. Then Robert and Miss Lisa, the two owners of my last staffing agency, they were going through a divorce, and I did not know. Nobody knew anything. Not my staff, not nobody. And who gives a damn? But here's how his wife and him made my life flip upside down. So one day, I done got done exercising, because y'all know, if y'all follow me on Instagram, y'all know I was doing pull-ups, I was getting my workout on, if you will. So my manager, he get there, he like, what's up, ref? He like, Raphael, you know you got a PPO notice on your door? And I'm like, no. I'm like, hold up. I'm thinking it's from one of my previous females. I'm thinking it's something from my ex telling me that I gotta stay away from her. No, it was Lisa's. It was Lisa putting a PPO notice on my door. She put a PPO notice on my door that said Robert was not supposed to be there. Now keep in mind, both of them own the company. And keep that in mind. And I want you, and I'm gonna say this too. How the fuck can you tell somebody that's paying rent in the house? Because that's what I was doing. No bullshit. I was paying rent to stay where I was living. So how are you gonna tell me who the fuck can't go in and out my household? How the fuck can you tell me that? So he like, this PPO notice is not for you, it's for Robert. I'm like, she can't tell me who the fuck I can and cannot have in my household. Period. Point blank. And that's what I told her. No, that's what I told Robert. And he like, you right. Because you pay rent here. How the hell she gonna tell you who you can and can't invite? That's that's when my whole that's and why I'm telling y'all this in the beginning, because that's how it started. So it started from there, and it went from that to having, like, she would do stuff like have another staff come, have another staff, or have my staff that was working that wasn't working. She had them come there knocking on the door. And I'm talking about banging on my motherfucking door. She had them banging on the door, banging on the door. When she knew that I already had stabbed. So what the fuck is you doing? And she did this for about, she did up until up she did up until she got my manager fired, which I'm gonna get to that. So she had staff knocking on the door. I'm like, okay, at this point I'm calling the manager. But my manager like, hey, you already got a staff, so don't let her in. I called the owner of the company. Same thing. Don't let her in. And keep in mind, like I said, both of them own this company. Both of them own this company. Keep that in mind. So she kept doing it and 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 kept doing it until um I saw Robert, her husband. I don't give a fuck if he see the video. He see the video. He know I do YouTube. Anyway, I don't give a fuck. Robert came and he was like, she cannot tell you who and who cannot come in your household, which I already knew because I signed the lease. Just like I got the lease out here, I had a lease back on Beaverland. I had a whole lease. So what the fuck was she talking about? But I'm gonna move this story a little forward because I feel like I keep repeating myself and I don't want to do that. I'm gonna move the story forward. So I talked about her having people knocking on my door. Oh, I want to get to the. I'm just I'm just getting to this part. She would be watching my house from across the street. She and her posse would be watching the would be watching. I guess she watching my staff or whatever. First the fuck all, that's creepy. And why are you watching the house from across the street? And my manager, he told me that. And I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, that's that's messed up. And so and then she kept doing it, kept doing it, kept doing it, kept doing it. Weeks went by, she kept doing the same thing. Weeks went by, she kept doing the same thing. And at this point, I'm filing rights violations because she violating against my rights as not only not not only as a disabled man, but she's violating m- my lease as well because she cannot tell me who who can't come into my household. If the landlord don't got shit to say, she don't got shit to say. Only thing she and him was providing for me at the time was housing. Same thing my new staffing agency provides. They provide me with a roof over my damn head. But they cannot tell me who and who can't come out of this household. Not unless their names is on the lease, not unless they are my landlord. So I'm filing rights violations. Adult protective services, they kept coming out there making sure I was okay, making sure I was straight. But the state is, I'm gonna be honest, the state is bullshit. And the reason why I say that is because the state came to my house more than once. And they like, oh, we gonna help you. We going to help you. We going to help you. No, they on bullshit. See, this is how this goes, right? Um, you only get adult protective service involved. The only time you get adult protective service involved is you if your life is in danger. That is the only time you get adult protective services involved. At least down here in Michigan. Down here in Michigan, you can't just call adult protective service and expect them to do something, which I did not know. I know that now. I know that ain't no fucking point in me calling adult protective services if my life ain't in danger. Because the state of Michigan, yeah, I'm calling them out. I'm saying it. The state of Michigan, they're some bullshit. Because let me tell you something. When you get adult protective services involved, They're supposed to help you if you feel like your life is in danger, or if there's a threat for your life to be in danger. They're supposed to get on a job. And that is where I feel like the motherfucking state of Michigan don't give a fuck unless your life is in immediate danger. Like it has to be like somebody is trying to do something to you. That is the only motherfucking time that the state of Michigan will give a fuck. And that's that on that. But I'm gonna fast forward. I'm gonna fast forward because that's what I do. I know I'm talking in circles. I'm a little bit high, so y'all know I do the herbal essences. So yeah. Um. So fast forward. My manager tells me she's across the street again with her posse, which I didn't give a damn about her being across the street. And because you're across the street, you're not causing a disruption. When she caused a disruption, that's where I had the motherfucking problem. So let me say this. She used to sit across the street, just sit there and look, whatever. Then she brought her posse to my motherfucking doorstep. Meaning, I didn't know none of these people. My manager didn't know none of these people. We didn't know none of them. They sitting on my porch talking, but they talking loud, like, and they're causing a disturbance. So I'm like, cause my manager, he went outside. He like, hey, why are y'all doing this? Get off this man porch. And they like, yo, you can't tell us what to do. And they're getting loud and blah 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 blah. They going back and forth. I called the police. I called the police, which was my worst motherfucking mistake in the world. I'll never do it again. Not as long as I live. I am from 20 motherfucking third, where the police won't even come if you call them. Because I lived in the trenches. I lived on the west side in Detroit. So like I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. They kept being loud, kept causing a disturbance. I called the police once. They're like, well, who is causing the disturbance? And before I do that, I called the police that night because, like I said, she had people or staff banging, banging, banging on my door. And what the lady told me that night was it's a civil matter. It's nothing that we can do. And I should have took heed to. But then but we moving back to the next day. Back to the next day. She got people on my porch causing a disturbance. I called the police twice. The first time they hung up. The second time the lady listened to what I was telling her. The police get to my house. They get to my house. I'm in my bedroom just like I am now, and I'm laying down, which I should have told Antonio. You know what, Antonio? Give me up, get me up. I should have. Well, fuck it. He don't care. I should have told Antonio to get me up because I would have told them if you gonna arrest him, then you gotta arrest me. I'm ready. Cause that's how hard I went for my old manager because he did above and beyond his job. I should have got up and I should have been like, if you gonna arrest him, arrest me too. Put me in the back of the put me in the back of the thing too. And I would have went to jail that same me and Antonio, they probably would have put us in separate cells or whatever. But me and Antonio would have went to jail that day. Cause that's how hard I went for my motherfucking manager. And he was a real manager. Not saying that Leon isn't. Oops, my bad. Not saying that my new manager isn't, but he went beyond his job. I'll just say it like that. And me and Antonio would have been in a cell together because I would have told them, "Oh, you arresting him? If you gonna arrest him, arrest me." I would have got arrested that day. That's how hard I go for my old manager Antonio because it's like me and my old manager, we built a brotherhood. So it wasn't just about the job, but he got paid, but we built a brotherhood. I still talk to him this day. Still got love for him to this day. Everything in the motherfucking world. I just do. But anyway, I didn't get up. The cops was like, "You're suspended," and blah, and they was and they started to arrest Antonio. Antonio had a gun that was in his car, but he never brought it on my premises. I've never seen this man with a gun. But at the same time, I understood why he had the gun in his car. Because Miss Lisa, that's the other lady name. Miss Lisa, she had people coming over there threatening my manager. So of course, you need to protect yourself. So I don't blame him from having a gun in the car. But nevertheless, he did. And the rule of thumb when you in the healthcare field, you're not supposed to bring a gun. Period. They don't. You're not supposed to bring a gun. They don't care if it's in your car. They don't care, and that's their whole vibe. And Antonio went to jail. When Antonio went to jail, everything turned bad. And what I mean by that is the staff that Miss Lisa hired, she first of all, she fired all my old staff. Everybody. Everybody. She fired everyone that I had that was in my corner. She hired all these different African people. And I hope um my staff Emmanuel don't get offended. But anyway, he shouldn't. But she hired all these different African people who one of them spoke pretty good English, but the rest of them didn't. They did not, and some of them they didn't speak. They barely spoke any English, so I could barely understand what they were saying. If that makes sense. These people, they would open my door. These people would close my door. These people would let flies in my house. These people, they did not give one single fuck. And I'm going to tell you how. I would have to call and 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 call. 30 minutes 30 minutes for me to get what I got right now. What I got right now. 30 minutes, and if I get the crying, so the fuck what? Cause this is my story. And if you got a problem with it, you can get blocked. Um, 30 fucking minutes for some water. An hour to get somebody to come in there and see what the fuck I want. 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. And I want you to know that they're clocked in 5, 6. They just set they lazy motherfucking asses in there and totally disregarded anything I asked them, anything I wanted them to do, they didn't. If I wanted to get up, it was like pulling teeth to get up out of bed. Do you know how frustrating that is to be a disabled man? You got staff that are getting paid to do a service and they not do a service. That was frustrating. Really frustrating. Matter of fact, that's how I got pressure sores. That's how I went back to the hospital because of her staff neglecting me. And not only that, she gave me a 30-day notice because she felt like I was trying to coerce with Antonio and blah blah blah. First of all, I was not trying to coerce or whatever, but that was my manager at the time. So excuse the fuck out of me if she gave me this like, and if y'all listen, if y'all want to see if y'all want to see the what I want to say, the letter, the 30-day notice that she gave to me, I can show that to y'all. Y'all just let me know down in the comments. She gave me a 30-day notice saying that I'm uncooperative because I didn't let the staff do certain things. It got to that point, and I'm about to explain it to you right now. Because I had to yell and 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 yell to get somebody to get up and see what the fuck I wanted, I got to a point to where I did not give a fuck. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I did not give a fuck. So it was one staff and one staff only. They used to be like, you can't lay here like this. And that and I and I and I praise God for him. It was Mr. Bob's. Because he'll tell me like, look, you need to wash up, you need to you need to get right. And I'm like, no, I'm good. And yes, I laid there with my pads full of piss. I laid there like that. And I laid there like that because I got to a point to where I didn't care about life. I didn't care about living. The state wasn't doing anything except for, oh, we gonna help you. We gonna help you, which was bullshit. We gonna help you. Oh, we gonna help you, which was bullshit. And I got to a point to where I just stopped caring. And then after that, I I got up because I was getting a new power chair. So I had to go in for fitting, for my first fitting. And then when I got up, my manager was like, Mr. Bob's at the time, because she had switched all my staff. Mr. Bob's at the time, like, your leg is bleeding. You need to go to the hospital. This was the second time. I don't care. But the second time I went in the hospital and I never got out. And I'm being real serious right now. If anybody come on here with the bullshit, you're gonna get cussed out, blocked, and reported. So I get to the hospital. The hospital, they had to give me a bath first. Do you know how embarrassing that is? Do you know how humiliating it is to be in that be in that predicament. That is some real fucked up shit. So they had to bathe me first. They bathed me, and then after that, after they bathed me, they put me in the hallway. I sat in the hallway all the way up until I don't know what time, but I sat in the hallway. They they got me into a room. They put me in the room that night. But before that, they was giving me antibiotics. They had the thing, they had the machine, they was feeding me antibiotics while I was downstairs. They were giving me antibiotics, 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 antibiotics. I know that nurse was tired and she worked for her money. Because when I tell you they was giving me antibiotics, antibiotics, back to back to back to back to back until 2 a.m. because that is when they got me upstairs. Beaumont is one of the best hospitals in Michigan. So once they got me in the room, guess what they had to do? They had to shave me because I had hair. Not only that, I had maggots on my body. Um, I know I'm being graphic, but this is my truth. I had maggots on my body, crawling. They were still alive. And I recorded a video and I took a picture. But the video, I don't think y'all want to see that. Or the picture, I'm not showing y'all that. But the point is, they were alive. And I felt so motherfucking bad. I felt so motherfucking bad because because all of this because y'all going through a divorce. All of this because y'all are going through something that had absolutely nothing to do with me. So I got another pressure sore and they had to stuff it every day. So every day I was in pain unless unless they gave me a pain pill, which I can't. You're in the hospital. This is how this goes. They go by the hours. So if it's every 6 hours, you cannot get a pill until 6 hours. And that was the problem with me. I was in so much pain that I would want to pop a pill before the 6 hours was up because I was in so much pain. Every time they had to stuff my wounds, I was in so much pain. But anyway, what else do I want to say? I was in pain. I healed up from the hospital. Healed up. I went to the nursing facility. Got in the, got in the, they tell, oh, and I forgot to mention, wait, no I didn't. They tested me for COVID before I left because I was coughing. I had this cough. But I'm not thinking the nigga who was mean mugging me gave me COVID. So I'm like, okay, I check my results when I get to the nursing home, cause this nursing home it had internet services. Um, so I check my results and it says I got COVID. So I'm like, oh shit. So I had to be in isolation for like 7 days. Once they found out I had COVID, I had to be in isolation, which was the best 7 days because I didn't have to have nobody in the room with me. I ain't have to have nobody banging on the motherfucking wall. But that and it wasn't the best because I was coughing, but it was the best because nobody could be in my room. Period. Isolation. Nobody for 7 days or 10. 7 or 10 days. Nobody could be in my room. After those 7 to 10 days were up, they moved me to a room that I could that I had to be in with a roommate. His name was James, and he was cool. James was cool, and Kevin was cool. But yeah, and from there, I just stayed in this facility for 9 months, and fast forward to this day, I am with my new company, and I appreciate them so much. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this video, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Deuces.